One thing that it's a reoccurring subject that I find incredibly fascinating, and it keeps coming up, and it's been brought up even more so lately because of artificial intelligence and automated vehicles and all these different things that are happening, is there's going to be an erosion of jobs. And a subject keeps reoccurring, and that's universal basic income. The idea of giving everyone a certain amount of money, whether it's $12,000 or $18,000. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know what to think about that. You know, it would require a revolution in the way people considered their lives.
Yeah.
And then maybe that what do people do with leisure time? What should you do with it? Well,
Right.
leisure time, it's like, what is leisure time exactly? Is it sitting in a closet like a discarded android? I mean, that's often how people respond when they retire.
Right, but would they have to retire, or would they have their needs taken care of as far as food and shelter, and then be able to pursue something that they actually enjoy and are interested in, because the job that they were stuck in doesn't exist anymore?
Well, that's the question. And
Yeah.
I would say at the moment the data aren't great. You know, what happens to a lot of men who are unemployed now, they've let's say they've had that thrust upon them involuntarily, but most people who we would be talking about would be in that situation, is that, you know, they get depressed, they sit on the couch, they develop chronic pain problems, they start taking opiates for the pain problems, and then soon they're hooked. Like, it's not a pretty, I mean, I know that everyone isn't doing that, but lots of people are doing that, man.
Right. Yeah,
So,
but that's unemployment. Isn't it kind of a different thing? Because
I don't know.
Well, my thought is that unemployment, if you've got something like universal basic income, I mean, we're talking about a complete revolution in the way society is structured, right? Because if automation does come along and artificial intelligence does come along, and it really is a situation where a lot of the things that people do to occupy their time in order to feed themselves and shelter themselves, they don't exist anymore. It's unnecessary. So you're not talking about unemployment like, Bob, you're not a good enough lawyer, you've been fired, and now you're like, God, I'm a failure, I'm depressed, I am unemployed. We're not talking about that. We're talking about literally society as we know it having a complete reset.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I have no idea what to say about that. I mean,
I don't either. That's why I asked you.
Well, look, I mean, there are people. Here's the optimistic end. I'll speak as a determinist. I'm not a determinist, but I'm going to speak that way anyways. So there are lots of people who are creative. They're high in trait openness from the Big Five perspective. They're going to go do creative things.